All right, we're back at it with another Build Biology. Finally got a truck in here. A truck from Missouri.
Trucks.
This is Noah.
What up?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
Noah brought this all the way from Missouri. Which obviously, you know, I'm from Missouri. So we got this thing in common. And we also both dig this beautiful truck.
We like trucks, especially in Missouri.
Tell me what you brought, Noah.
We've got our 1986 Chevy Silverado C10. It's a square body, up and coming. You can still pick them up for cheap. In our case, super cheap with lots of cool parts.
Rust-free.
Yeah, somehow it's rust-free.
Exterior is just old truck.
Pretty much bone stock, original paint. Like we said, no rust, lots of scratches. We wanted something we could basically hop in, drive anywhere. A little shitty, but we wouldn't be too worried about leaving the grocery store parking lot, taking on a trip, throw some crap in the back. We wanted to pack all the performance stuff in here, and we kind of got carried away. It turned out pretty good.
It's so straight.
Nice, you know, when you're kind of looking at the outside, you get a little clues, like we got some crazy HRE wheels. They're 20 by 10.
Yo, it's 20 by 10?
So we got 20 by 10 in the front and 20 by 12s in the back.
Man, that's a big wheel.
Big wheel.
Big tires.
They're forged. Very, very nice. High quality wheels. Usually see them in exotic cars. I don't know if they are super happy about seeing them on Silverado, but they look cool.
They look great on this truck. So yeah.
Original bed, vinyl line. We've got our fuel tank in the back. Battery, just make everything accessible, easy to work on.
What cool stuff do you have going on in here?
Yeah, so we got a fuel safe with a bladder in it. No matter how hard you're banking this thing around a turn on autocross track or a regular track, we don't want to be starving the motor of fuel. We've got an air motive pump. No crazy show quality stuff, but we built it to drive it. Didn't want to be considering like cosmetics while we're having a good time.
Right.
Just have it. Just let it rip.
Now, this is where we kind of get to see some of the business. You got these sweet Recaro buckets.
So being that it was from the 80s, we needed to find the perfect 80s seat, which for me is the Recaro Gradient. Recaro like made, I think, 50 sets of these. We were able to get our hands on one.
What else do you have in here that is?
So we've got a pretty sweet tubing bender at the shop. So the guys bent up this little roll bar that goes behind the seats and it tucks down along the side. Nice and clean. You don't clonk your leg on it.
Oh, and that holds the harness.
Yeah, it's our harness bar. We got these Sparcos, which are easy to snap in and out of. We didn't want to run a full crazy harness with the clasps because it's just a pain in the ass. Custom column we built, pretty straightforward. We do have air conditioning because we just like, the interesting thing is when you're rocking the air conditioning on an autocross track, it will just spray water at you if you, it cannot drain properly. But it's a vintage air unit, it's awesome, it's icy cold. We got custom carpeting and, ooh, what's that? Hey there, buddy.
It's a sequential?
Is it a hot dog? Is it a billet hot? No, it's not, it's sequential shift.
It's a sequential.
It is a sequential.
I've never seen a truck like this with a sequential.
This is S1, they're in Australia. They make a sequential that mounts to any T56, which you can buy new or pull out of a lot of vehicles. You got the double overdrive with the T56, so you still got to clutch it. But as you can see, we've got what is neutral here. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back into neutral. If you want to go to reverse, you flip it down, back once, forward. It's highly satisfying and very mechanical. I've not found anybody that wasn't a fan.
My dad had one of these when I was growing up.
Right.
And all I remember is just this big old cracks in the dash and everything flapping when you're driving.
Now the dash in this thing still squeaks pretty good.
Yeah.
Because of how it goes together, but it looks brand new. So. These doors from the factory never close right.
Oh.
That never happens.
That's a really satisfying thing too when the door just shuts like that.
It is.
Let's get down to business. Let's pop the hood.
Yeah, this is the good part. So we've got the new LT4. As seen in the Z06, CTSV, this is the wet sump version.
Yeah.
They also have a dry sump version. Wet sump is rated at 640 horsepower. But man, it rips in the pickup truck. It's reliable. It runs 200 degrees all day long. That's sitting in traffic with the air conditioning on. It pulls hard at 100 miles an hour. It pulls hard at 120 miles an hour.
These don't go 100 miles an hour from the factory. You know how hard it is?
Down. So we've got it geared so it'll do, at 100 miles an hour, it'll do about 2,700 RPM. So some just nice smooth cruising. We've had it out and it will flat out perform for the flying brick. In the engine compartment, we've got some tubs in here, just nice, cleaned up. Made some custom panels here. Firewall, bodyworked, cleaned up. We wanted to kind of like a factory look, like they could have built it this way if they did. It's like you gotta work on it.
It's exactly what you said. Very, very clean. You can hardly see anything in the way. I love how all the routing of all the
We got all
plumbing
air
is.
conditioning and heat stuff that goes back this way. It's nice. I can't really
Did
complain.
you put it on a dyno, or is it just
We have
the
not put it
factory
on
motor?
it. Yeah, factory motor.
Yeah.
Running the factory computer
with a sequential transmission?
with the sequential transmission. But you don't have to program anything crazy, and it just freaking goes.
You got Willwood brakes.
We got Willwood brakes, 6 piston in the front, 4 in the rear, and then we've got a ride-tech suspension all the way around. Sometimes we build this stuff, you want to build it so people say like, hey, I could build it myself. So it's good to kind of inspire people.
What's the radiator from?
That is a E-Cool with dual Spall fans. They're set to run at about 220, but this one runs at about 200. Like I said, 200 with the air on, and that's sitting in traffic, flying down the highway. It's more like 190. So you never have to worry about it overheating, or it never really skips a beat.
So what fuel do you run? Just
Regular fuel. 91.
91.
In Missouri, we have 93.
yeah, we got 93.
As you are aware, so.
I'm gonna take one good gander at all how clean this is. Is the fuel economy good on this thing?
Yeah, the fuel economy is
bad.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're in it
Yeah.
and just,
yeah.
you know, railing it pretty hard, it's not that great, but neither is anything. But
Yeah.
on the highway, you can drive long distances, and
That's amazing to me.
it's just,
Just
throw it in.
update everything.
I think originally the 305 made, I think it's under 200 horsepower. So
Really?
we've got 640, and we're happy with our life. We're happy with ourselves. That'll work.
Yeah. Let's get it up on the lift to look at it.
Let's do it.
Let's see what's underneath this thing, because there's nothing that looks factory to me.
Not a whole lot of factory stuff. We did use the original frame. So all the ride tech stuff is designed to bolt onto the original frame. It performs very, very well. So up front, kit comes with new big burly control arms, a tubular top and bottom. Really, really nice ride tech shocks, which are Fox shocks that the ride tech tunes. And these are single adjustable. They're easy to use. And with that setup, we've been able to drive it everywhere, beat it on the street. We've done some track days. We've done autocross stuff.
How is that at the track? Have you driven multiple cars in autocross?
Yes, it's interesting. It's wide, which is kind of weird in an autocross track because you kind of want something a little bit skinnier. But the steering is nice and tight. We've got a quick ratio box. We've messed with the sway bar, and we've got a thicker sway bar than we started with. We had to tweak very little because the whole truck is something that it's not supposed to be. And to me, that's the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah.
A brand new Porsche GT3 is supposed to be a race car.
Yeah.
An 86 Silverado is not, but we've got it set up now where it does pretty incredible stuff. So
It
it's
looks
neat.
like it.
Yeah.
It looks very much like business under here.
We basically pulled the cab and the bed, and we rhino lined the whole undercarriage, lasted all this, rhino lined it all, so it kind of has like a restored look underneath. We've got basically a chassis stiffener in the middle from GSI. We've got a Magnaflow exhaust.
Really nice. It's all stainless, huh?
It's all stainless. We take it all together. Got a little bit of a tranny leak coming out the top, but it's been going good for us.
Well,
so.
it's been driven, so.
It's been driven quite a bit.
You drove this here today.
Right,
This
right.
didn't show up on a trailer. You
It
drove
did not.
here.
We've got about 700 miles on this truck in the last few days, just around California. Oil temperature is important on these, so we've got an oil cooler back
Oh,
here.
wow, that's really cool.
So, little scoop
Little
on the
scoop,
front.
yeah.
Nice long
Kinda hard to
lines.
see, but
yeah.
there we go.
Kind of hard to see.
That's cool.
It gets good airflow.
I really like that.
The
That's
oil
a-
stays nice and cool.
That's a really cool idea. I've
yeah.
never even thought of.
You can see on these, there's a plate on the side of the motor. A little bit different setup on the factory car, but this is a stock oil pan.
Hey, what kind of clutch is in this?
This is center force.
Center force?
Which is what we pretty much use on everything. Everything you can just beat on them. Kind of best of both worlds though, because you can drive them on the street really easily.
Yeah.
And give them hell. You can't say that about everything. We like the way it's set up, so.
Little beefy trans mount.
This company that builds these give you a couple different options for slotting for your trans mount, so you can slide that back and forth and get it just right. So back here, we've got a 4-link setup. Out of the hole, out of a hard turn, accelerating, it hooks up really, really hard. It feels great. Off the line, you can hammer it. It's very, very stable. It is burly. It is rated for far, far higher forces than this stuff will ever see in an actual automobile or truck.
See how massive these wheels are too.
It's got a pretty hunker down stance. Johns Industries builds all of our rear ends, all 4 9-inch. They're burly. They're not noisy, which sometimes they can be. Kind of tried and true race car shit that works well on the street and even better on the track. Yep.
Easy to maintain, which this would be.
When you get some time, which you never seem to have, you can hop in it, go flog it, put it back in the garage, starts up the next time. It's cool because that motor has got a 50,000 mile warranty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Did you buy that motor outright or did you rob it from another vehicle?
This is a brand new motor.
Okay.
Transmission came with it, GM computer comes with it. Plug all that stuff in, and it's ready to rock.
Massive brakes front and rear.
Big brakes, front and rear, all Willwood stuff. We usually run Willwood. I've not experienced any brake fade. I really like the way it feels on these.
I bet this is really, really fun to drive.
It's an absolute blast.
It has to be.
And not only is it fun, but it's easy. If Grandma knows how to drive a stick, she could drive it.
Yeah.
And if she pushed the pedal too hard, she's gonna do like a monster burnout down the road. Like I said, with the 4-link in the back, it's very stable. It just rips.
It's just so simple, so clean.
Simple, clean, it's not what it's supposed to be. You kind of like look up here, you can see we have Drive Junkies does this front runner setup, which is a nice, clean, kind of factory looking setup.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an exotic motor to have in an 86 Silverado, but everything cleared really, really well.
Yeah, did it take many hours for you to get this all set up and in there? Or?
It wasn't that bad.
Well, man, this is amazing. I want to see it shred, though.
You maybe do a little burnout
Can we do a burnout in here?
inside?
Inside?
Possibly?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do a burnout inside.
I don't want to scare any office workers.
Who cares? Fire that baby up. This thing's sick, Noah.
Thanks.
Super
Thanks for
cool.
having me on. I just want to do a burnout here, so I think I can check that off the list.
Hey, thanks for coming by, man. That was dope. Man, we need a lunch car. This is a cool lunch car. Dude, Joey, we need a lunch car.